Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to day 17 of What's on Tap podcast. Advent calendar, tasting, bonanza, extravaganza, super superior, fuck all the others, can't wait for the next day, what's going to happen, super spectacular, Evel Knievel jumps a Grand Canyon, Advent calendar.
Wow.
Well, I mean, we got to really sell this thing in.
Yeah.
So this is your beer. I can tell by the fancy wrapping paper.
Yes.
And what do we get? We get, Evil Twin before, during, and after dinner blend. This is very much a coffee stout. I only say that because it's only coffee beans on the cover.
It's black label with coffee beans. How strong is it?
It's only 8%.
Yes.
So variably it's a milk stout in some ways. But it's a coffee stout is what it says.
Coffee stout. This is the one I've been scared of because we've had such a good average run on our calendar.
This scares me too because 8% for Evil Twin stout is kind of weird, honestly, because they do not shy from big stouts.
No.
And it's a kind of a mono style, which is also not what they're known for.
It's a bit spooky.
Yeah. But let's just give it a sniff. Let's give it a sniff.
It does. It smells like coffee.
Well, I hope so, since it's a coffee stout.
But maybe only that. That scares me.
Yeah, I get coffee and I get a bit of dark roast on this. So it feels like it's a more traditional stout with coffee notes to it.
Let's try.
All right, let's see what we get here.
Cheers.
Yeah. This is kind of refreshing in a way.
Yeah, it's not too heavy. I mean...
So I think we're so biased when it comes to stouts.
Yeah.
On pastry stouts. So that every stout has to be a big, syrupy, multi-adjunct flavored beer. But for me, this kind of takes you back to your roots.
It is interesting that you say it because I still enjoy dunking back a Guinness.
Yeah, I mean,
one of the most drinkable beers ever. You just pour it up and it's gone.
Yep. For me, this is what I was thinking. I was like, this kind of takes you back to
Guinness.
a Guinness, a Murphy's Irish Stout.
Yeah.
Just takes you back to a double ABV version of those because.
But you don't taste the 8%.
No.
It tastes like
I would not think this is 8%. But most of your Guinnesses come in at 4.5. Same for Murphy's Irish Stout. They're 5%. They're not high ABV. People think they're so heavy, but really they're not heavy beers. They just have a high nitrous injection of carbonation. So it feels like a much heavier beer, like I say, a meal in a glass kind of beer, where the pastry stouts really are a meal in a glass kind of beer.
Yep.
This is much closer to the Guinness style, and I really, really like that.
Yeah, the coffee powers through without being tannic or. I usually call bad coffee beers coffee sump when coffee just has been it's just standing there and it's building up all of these what are they called, galvic acids,
oxidation kind of flavors.
It's so terrible.
And I must say this beer is just on the edge of that.
It's on the edge.
I could easily see where someone would be like, "Ugh, this is too sour, too much coffee sump. This is just unbalanced garbage." But at the same time, I'm also No, I mean, this really nails that perfect hard espresso coffee flavor with a nicely roasted malt balance.
Yes.
And I think this is one of those beers that really depends on your flavor profile and the way your tongue adapts to the flavors. So for me, this is on the better side of worse, if that makes sense. I don't think there's a middle ground for this beer. Either you're going to love it, like this is like amazing, or it's absolute trash.
Yeah, and I can't decide yet. I can't decide. So, two days ago, I promised to talk about Orson Welles.
Sure.
Yesterday, I promised to talk about Orson Welles. So in the 80s, when Transformers was still a cartoon,
He did the voice of Unicron.
in the movie Transformers
It was
the
his
movie,
last role, wasn't it?
it was his last role. It is so sad.
Yes, he wasn't. It wasn't hawking wine or other meat products. He was the voice of Unicron.
Unicron in Transformers the movie. In
He
the
did a lot of
80s.
voice work towards the end of his life.
Yeah, and this was the end of Transformers season 1. Transformers the cartoon was just to sell product, to sell toys.
Well, so what happened was in the U.S., President Reagan said you can sell toys to children as long as there's a message.
Yeah, and
So that's why you have that G.I. Joe.
Exactly.
The more you know moments at the end of the G.I. Joe.
And at the end of every Transformers episode, there was like, the Optimus Prime says that you should always listen to your parents.
Right. So there's always some moral lesson at the end of the cartoons. Yeah.
And Transformers and G.I. Joe, who actually exist in the same universe because they have a lot of crossovers.
Right. Hasbro owned the license
Yes.
to both. So yes.
But then Transformers the movie came at the end of season 1, and Hasbro needed to sell a lot of new toys.
Because we were past the Generation 1, Generation 2,
Exactly.
into Gen 3 toys. So we gotta pump up those toy lines because toy lines were becoming rather fatigued at this point.
Japanese style, we were on Generation 3. We were approaching Generation 3 of Transformers, but the US had merged Generation 1 and 2 of Transformers into season 1 of the American Transformers.
Yes.
But then the movie came, and it starts off amazing. The movie is amazing, but it starts off amazing and positive, and there's good songs like "You've Got the Touch," "You've Got the Power."
Right. So if you've seen Boogie Nights, then you know the song reference as well.
Is "You've Got the Touch, You've Got the Power" from Boogie Nights?
No, it's used in Boogie Nights.
Oh.
You've Got the Touch is used in Transformers.
Right.
But when Dirk Diggler decides to pursue his singing career, he sings the "You Got the Touch" song.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a travesty.
But 10 minutes after "You've Got the Touch, You've Got the Power" song,
Dare to Be Stupid?
"Dare to Be Stupid" is way later.
Okay.
After that, it's so positive and pumps you up. And then Transformers starts to permanently die. When Decepticons attacks a moon base and just kills your toys.
All right.
You have these...
So spoilers for a 30-year-old cartoon.
Spoiler... more
40-year-old cartoon.
Almost.
Optimus Prime dies.
And
it is a soul-crushing experience for every 15-year-old younger person that watches this film.
Exactly, because the Decepticons they attack this moon base and they kill a lot of the Autobots that you love, and then they attack Earth and Optimus Prime defends it and he dies. And the scene where he dies is brutal because first he opens his chest and gives out the matrix of leadership and he passes it on and he says,
Rodimus Prime, and Rodimus Prime says no.
Rodimus Prime does not exist. He's Hot Rod at this time.
No. So it was the other guy.
You're 100% correct. In the end of the movie, Hot Rod, who holds the matrix of leadership, he manages to use it, and that when he becomes Rodimus Prime. At the end of the movie, we're in the beginning of the movie where all of our favorite characters are dying. Optimus Prime hands over this thing and he says, none of you can use this. I will now die. And then he fades into grayscale before our very eyes. And little Martin, who wasn't prepared for this, was scarred for life.
And it wasn't just that Optimus Prime dies. They legitimately kill off every single character that was in the original cartoon.
Starscream dies.
Yeah. They like Hasbro says, we're just going to clear the field. We're going to love every character. We're going to invent all new characters, and these are going to be the new toys we're going to sell.
It's not 100%. It's not 100%.
It's like 90%.
Yeah.
I mean, they kill off a lot of people.
Megatron does die, but he gets reborn as Galvatron.
He does get reborn. Yeah.
Oof. Okay, so what do we think about this beer?
That's right. We're talking about this beer.
Is it a 4? Is it a kind 4?
I think it's a solid 4. I don't think I have to. I don't have to pass mild judgment on this. I think it is a solid entry into a standard coffee stout. So, is this stout going to knock your socks off?
No,
absolutely not. Is this stout true to style? 100%. This is one of those things where, like, if we're doing BJCP standards, probably a 4.75/5. But for laymen's that just drink it, it's a 4. I mean, it's a solid 4.
Weak 4. I'm disappointed in it.
What would make it better? What do you want? So, because I feel like if anything you're adding at this point is an adjunct.
It does have. It does have some tannic acids.
It does. From the coffee parts, there is a bit of a tannic, sour aftertaste to it. I'll give you that.
It is approaching like the sourness of a coffee stout. The aftertaste just drops immediately. Maybe that's the ABV. Maybe that's the mouthfeel that affects it. But
it's thin. It's thin like a 4%, 5% stout.
But a 4% Guinness has way longer aftertaste than this one.
Because it's more. I think you get the nitrous tumbler. So I think if they threw in a nitrous tumbler in this, and you popped it open and that nitrous thing fucking lit up,
maybe
I think this would be a much better experience.
Whenever I refer to a Guinness, I always refer to the draft because I really dislike that like nitrous can bullshit. I actually do. Stefan is looking at me with
this was episode
no. Okay, it's a solid 4.
Yeah,
this beer.
I agree with you there. I think it's a solid 4 as well. I think this is one of the rare occasions where can tells you what it is. You drink it, you're like, "Yep, that's exactly what it is."
But I think this particular style can do more than this.
Sure,
stronger flavors, longer lasting flavors. That's my kicker.
Yeah, I want more of a coffee essence in the back notes.
Yeah,
it does finish a little like almost like a dry Irish stout, where it just kind of just dies and then you don't have much more going on. But I still think it's a 4. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. And now I've done my Transformers spiel.
Yes, it has. It was much ado about nothing. It had no real relevancy to anything else we're talking about. I really enjoyed it.
We referenced Orson Welles 2 days ago, and
that was a callback for sure.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really have anything
Transformers
to do with
the movie scarred me.
It scarred everyone that grew up in the 80s and watched it. Oof. It was a so if Transformers the movie was the scarring moment for young boys in the 80s, Steel Magnolias was the scarring moment for young girls in the 80s.
Yeah.
Both equally emotionally traumatic and emotionally storytelling.
Yeah.
In ways you did not expect.
No.
All right. Well, that was today's wrap up of obscure 80s films. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow on day 18. So until next time,
Keep drinking, you dum-dums.